I'm back. Sorry, I had to pause that for a second. Yeah, so I kept wondering about this graveyard. My hair's a mess. And then I found on Facebook that there was a thing called Friends of Heartwood Paupers Cemetery. And I looked up and I realised that was the Heartwood Hospital graveyard. Someone who had found it. It was under years and years of grass and overgrown whatever. They managed to find it. They also luckily managed to find the records of who was in each grave. It was being thrown out and someone rescued it. And they found this graveyard and they had to obviously clear out all the overgrown grass and weeds and twigs and whatever. And then all the graves they weren't marked with headstones. There was a couple of headstones, one for the guy who'd been the first ever superintendent. There was a couple of nurses, I think, who had gravestones. But the rest were just little metal plaques that were stamped into the ground. So over the years when they'd been grown over, they'd went further and further down, so they had to clear them out, get a metal detector, and they went round and they started finding these numbers. Each of these numbers wasn't just one person in each grave, there was maybe 2 or maybe 3 in each grave. And the rumour I had heard at the hospital was that it wouldn't just be, whenever they found the graveyard, it wouldn't just be the number of people that they say were in there, which is at the moment 1,255 people in that graveyard, and it's not a big graveyard. It's, I'd probably say, smaller than a football pitch. And in fact, I'll take you up there maybe later today or tomorrow. And it's, the rumour was that sometimes staff, and I'm not talking about recently, I'm talking about when it first opened, and it was hard life and staff weren't great, and sometimes maybe a patient would get killed, whether by accident or whether by badness, and they had to obviously get rid of the body, and if they didn't have a good excuse for them dying, and if someone was getting buried the next day, then the body just got thrown in beside them. So, well, we would never know how many people were really there unless it gets dug up or scanned or something. I don't know whether they'll ever do that. I don't know whether it would be any help to anybody. But yeah, so at the moment it stands at 1,255. 3 of which so far that we've found are children. 2 babies. Martha and William. And they were brother and sister. Born at the hospital 10 years apart. Which tells you that their mum was a patient in the hospital. Their mum got pregnant in the hospital. At that time, male and female patients did not mix in any way whatsoever. So I can only assume that the father of these children worked at that hospital. So both Martha and William died as babies. Yeah. The other child was a 14-year-old girl called Elizabeth. And they're resting there for all eternity. I've taken up a little bench that my stepdad made for me just before he died. And I made plaques with each of the 3 kids' names on it, and the date of birth and the date they died, and the plot they're in. And a couple of beginning of the week there, I took up little decorations that you'd hang on a Christmas tree with their names on them, and I've put them on the bench. And anytime there's a special holiday or something, I'll go up and I'll decorate that bench. There's nothing I could do for them when they were alive, but this is. But I do feel calm when I'm there. There's 3 World War I soldiers, survivors there. There's a Polish princess. I'll need to find out more about her. It really interests me. So it's not just paupers that were put in there. It's there's a whole range of people in there. And they're now being looked after by a great bunch of people. And they're getting the recognition finally that they deserve. They're getting grants to help the upkeep. Yeah, they're getting there, and it's I'm glad they're getting what they deserve, because they've done a great job. It's now a place you can go, and there's benches to sit on, and there's they've got a beehive. They're keeping bees, so they're keeping the bee population going too. They go up there and they cut the grass, they tidy around the graves. As the plaques get found, they get sent away and they get polished and they get brought back and put back in place. There's boards all around the graveyard that tell you who's in which number. So you know all the names that are there. So if you live in the area, and you think you might have had a member of your family in a Heartwood between, I can't remember when it opened. Well, it would have been 1895, I think. It closed in 1951. So if you had a relative you think might have been in Heartwood in that time and you don't know where they're buried, go up and have a look. Go online. Friends of Heartwood Cemetery. Friends of Heartwood Pauper Cemetery. And they've got a list on there of all the people that are buried there. Anyway, that's been a different. It's not obviously been a very illness today. But when it's a place I go to feel better. I can sit there or walk around it and I feel at peace. Don't know why. You can see the building, the Heartwood building, just behind the graveyard, and it's obviously deserted now. Bits of it have been pulled down, bits that have fallen down. But I don't go too close to that because there's not so good feelings there. I can feel. I don't feel easy there. It's not nice. Bad things happen there. So, anyway, I'm going to go just now because I need to try and get ready to get this Christmas tree up, or my son's going to absolutely kill me. Hopefully tomorrow I will be on time and better, and I'll have a Christmas tree up. We'll see. Take care. See you all later. Love you. Bye.